blushing is violence, and so is your silence when it's rooted in compliance. To stand firm in loving defiance, make Archer alliance, give voice to the fire. Move people to the beat of the wind, gather yourself and begin to dance the song until it ends. We are winners, champions of the light, forming in numbers and might. Keep the truth close in sight. Medicine woman, medicine man.
Hello, and thanks for joining in. I am Dacia, and this is the Simply Josephine podcast, episode 11. I have a great episode for you today. It's focused all around camping and herbal medicine. June has just sort of whizzed by in a blink. We've had lots of rain, which is nice, and the weather has stayed typically cooler than normal, which is, pretty typical for June here anyway. But we got in all kinds of things, but something we did do was camp. We went camping for a little over a week, and that is when the bulk of this episode takes place. So we all went on a big camping trip. Not too far away from the house. It was kind of nice to be about, we were 10 or 12 miles away. So I was able to come home for supplies and things, because once I got out there I realized the plants were just like all over the place, and there were a lot of remedies I realized that I wanted to make after I already got to camp. And my niece Aubrey was my little sidekick. You will see lots of videos and her also taking videos too. How I'm going to line this episode up is I'm going to just chat at you a little bit now, and then I'm going to play the videos that we took and kind of go in that order, and then I'll be back again at the end of the episode to talk about a few of the things that we made, a few other little things that I may have skipped during the initial videos that when we were taking them. So we did a lot of these just freehand with the camera, and so they're a little, some are a little shaky. I'll just leave it at that. And sometimes the sound quality isn't the best, but hey, whatever, it was fun, and I just wanted to share our herbal camping experience with all of you. So right out of the gate, we make an herbal cleaning vinegar. And I've got that here. In fact, I'm getting ready to strain this and bottle it for Aubrey, because she was most interested in that. So the first video's the cleaning vinegar there. And then we also do some videos in the field. She collects some mint, and that is in there. And then I also collect some fir tips. I talk about fir tips and spruce tips. And then we picked a ton of violets as well. I had no idea the violets were going to be as abundant as they were out there. And so I made an elixir. And then we have a little bit of a blooper. I was going to make just a fir tip oxymel or infused vinegar while we were out camping, and then turn it into an oxymel. But then I just got this idea to do a spirited fir tip oxymel. So that is where you add some 100 proof. Well, I used 100 proof vodka. You could probably use anything that you wanted to, but I added that to it just to kind of like preserve its shelf life a little bit longer. And 2, alcohol extracts things that vinegar does not. So I wanted to experiment with that, and we ended up doing a whole gallon of that. And it's still here, still infusing. And then lastly, I make an arnica infused oil. And I'm going to come back after all these videos and talk to you a little bit more about arnica oil processing and all of that, because the arnica flowers are very perishable, fragile, can retain a lot of moisture, and if you put all these things in with oil, sometimes you get a big disaster. So anyway, I will go over that and finish up at the end of this episode. But I think I will just, let's see if I'm forgetting anything. I don't think so. I think I'll just go ahead and start with the cleaning vinegar and just move on from there with the different videos, and enjoy. And I'll be back at the end.
I'm going to be cutting mints today, and these are the mints. You can tell that they're mints, for one, by their smell, and for two, by the types of where their leaves are.
Yes, opposing leaves. And why don't you show us what the stem looks like and tell us about the stem?
So there is a part of the stem that is square at the bottom.
Yeah,
it just has the four sides.
Stem. So it's nice to roll it around in your fingers.
Yeah.
Then you can tell it's a square stem. All right.
Here's a little patch of mint.
Wild mint growing right next to the creek.
And we don't want to pick all the mints, because then there's none left to go to seed.
That's right. Thank you, Aubrey.
Bye.
So, how's that going? Am I in it?
Yep.
All right. We just got back from the creek, and we are going to make a cleaning vinegar. We've made all kinds of herbal remedies. This here is violets in apple cider vinegar, and this is violets, mint, and rosebuds in regular white vinegar. And now we're going to make another cleaning vinegar. And cleaning vinegars, it doesn't really matter. So this is our mint and our violets that we've picked there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the violets in the jar. When you're making a cleaning vinegar, it does not matter how much of anything you put in, or there's not an exact
amount.
Wait. Yes, exact amount. Thank you, Av. So, I guess we can let them just run by.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut the mint like this. Love ya. Cut the mint. Our little camp distraction. How's it going? Should you back up a little bit, or are we doing good?
That's good.
So, I just chop up the mint. Oh, this smells so good. The wild mint we just collected. Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
All right, so that ought to be about good, because it doesn't matter how much you use for cleaning
violets and
vinegar. Oh, okay, I'll grab those. And then we're going to infuse this with white vinegar. I'll grab these violets because they make the most beautiful. Maybe we can add this mint to yours here, because you can always add more. All right, so I've got my jug of white vinegar, and I'm going to pour this in.
How full do you put it, Dacia?
I'm just going to go ahead and fill it up because I think that's probably good enough. If we pick a few more violets, then we might add some more to those. But you want to cut your parchment or wax paper to go in between the lid and the jar because vinegar eats lids. Or you can just purchase plastic lids. There, those work pretty good too, but I didn't bring a plastic lid to camp, and since we're camping, we have to do what? Make do with what we have, right?
Yep.
So, I'm going to give this a good shake, and pretty soon this is going to look like this in just a few days. It won't take long at all.
But probably not as pink because I have the rosebuds in there and they're working too.
They are. All right. Picking these picking these purple violets, wild violets. They're all over the forest floor here. I just walked into this little mini meadow and stumbled across these violets. They're so pretty.
I'm going to be making a violet leaf vinegar.
Yeah, violet leaf and flower. There it is in the jar. And we're using apple cider vinegar. And we're going to let these flowers infuse and then use it for anything you want. Salad dressing, soups, beans, bone broth. And then this over here is a violet,
Rosebud and mint and white vinegar cleaning supply, and I have made this by myself.
Yes, you have. And now we're going to label it and date it. Hey there! We are getting ready to make some more herbal remedies here at camp. And we picked all of these wild violets, and we are going to make an elixir out of those right now. And I picked these earlier, and we're going to add these to this. So if you want to go ahead and do that off, we can start putting those in. Violet leaf and flower. Violets are very mucilaginous. They're good for, helpful for our lung tissue and moving lymph, and they're very cooling in nature. So that's why we're making an elixir out of them. And an elixir is basically just some sort of alcohol, and we're going to use vodka and honey. And you can mix in spices if you like, but we are just going to, maybe we'll save a couple of these to add to the cleaning vinegar. So if you want to set a handful off to the side there.
But it's about this much?
Yeah, we'll put the leaves in this one though. So we'll put the rest of those in. And let's see, here I'll get the honey going. So we are going to put 16 ounces of honey in. Do you want to do the honey off?
Yeah, how much?
We're going to put all this honey in there.
Okay.
So if you just want to hold that upside down in there. For sure. Yep, just like that. Well done. So this is going to infuse with the alcohol and the honey for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to a couple of months, and then you can strain it and bottle it, and it goes very well with it is a nice remedy to add to tea, or you can mix it with sparkling water, or you can just take it straight by itself. That's good, it's coming out. It's just being a little slow. And then get ready to add the vodka, and you can use whichever proof you want. I'm going to use 80 proof, which is 40% alcohol, 60% water for this particular remedy, since it will be more for drinking rather than tincturing. Here, I'll put this off to the side here. Alright, I'll just hold that, and then we'll slowly add the vodka. There. We're going to cap this and then give it a really good shake. And we will want to make sure we label it. All right. Didn't bring any utensils to scrape that out of there, but we'll just make do with what we have. Do you want to tear? Yeah, you can tear that in half and then in half again, and that'll be perfect. Almost needs a little prop to sit there. It's getting in there nice. These are forest wildcrafted wild violets. We've been picking them for days, haven't we?
Yeah.
Do you want to get started on the label? Thank you for this. And then labeling is very important. So we're going to start with wild violet. I picked these arnica flowers here as well today, and they were a little damp. Usually I would have waited, but since this is our last day camping, I decided to go ahead and pick them, and I've just laid these out on this towel, and they're drying up real nicely, and we're going to make an infused oil out of those next.
Is it VOLITE for violet?
No, but that'll work. It's VIO, violet, L-E-T.
I just squeezed the little
Yeah, that works. And elixir you spell E-L-I-X-I-R. Perfect. And since this is a vodka elixir, I often write vodka too, because sometimes I make brandy remedies. So you spell it V-O-D-K-A, and then today's date, which is the 19th. So 6/19/20. And sometimes you can also write where you harvested the things. So maybe in between vodka, can you write Pinkham Creek? Again, I'm putting my wax paper in between. I'm going to get this on here really good. And give it a good shake to get that honey all loosened up. And if you just keep shaking it, it will go infuse into the alcohol. There, perfect. Right there. And here it is. Fir tips, fir tip gathering. Fir tips are so soft, and the needles are a little wider than the spruce tips, and fir tips are a little more spread out. And this is a fir tree behind me here, and fir trees are very soft. You can run your fingers both forward and backward on a fir branch and it's not prickly. It's very soft. Whereas a spruce tree, which is what we have over here, and then here's our spruce tip basket. So I'll show you the difference here. I'll get a good, so this is a fir tip and this is a spruce tip, and see, they look a little different. They feel a little different too, but the fir is more spread out and the spruce is more together. They are both edible and you can make tons of things out of them.
What do they smell like, Dacia?
Oh, okay, yeah, good indicator. The fir tips smell more lemony. They're more fragrant, and the spruce tips just smell like more piney and fresh.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very easy to gather. You just go up to the branch and you can they often just come right off. But you want to make sure you leave quite a bit because these are going to be the branches of the tree one day. So you kind of want to sporadically go around the bush and pick them that way. So we've been out gathering all morning and we have a basket of each, and then we will go back to camp and make some remedies.
We're going to be making a fir tip vinegar with apple cider and some fir tips.
That is what we are doing, an apple cider vinegar infused fir tip remedy. So we've gathered these fir tips here, and Aubrey is getting ready to pour in the apple cider vinegar. And we are going to leave a little space at the top because when I get home I'm going to add honey to it and turn it into an oxymel. An oxymel is just a fancy word for an apple cider vinegar remedy. So you get your fir tips in a nice clean jar, and then you fill it with the vinegar. And I think you can probably add a little bit more vinegar. What do you think?
I think that would be good.
Yeah. Yep, so we'll leave that there and we'll top this off with honey when we get home, and we will have a fir tip oxymel, and we will let this infuse for a few months before we strain it and bottle it. And then if you want to put that wax paper on, because it's nice to put the wax paper in between the lid and the jar, because vinegar will corrode your lid. So there we go. And then we are going to label, label, label what it is, what it's infusing in, and the date. And sometimes you can even put the place that you harvested it to. That's kind of nice sometimes. We're out here at camp doing our herbal camping remedy making.
Seriously, I'm not sure about Riley.
All right, we're back. We're back. Me and Ob doing our herbal thing here. The other day we made a fir tip vinegar, and we filled our jar pretty much too full, but we had all the fir tips anyway. So I decided that, and this has only been infusing for 1 day, and you can see the difference in the color of the fir tips. So this, I decided that we would just make it in a larger jar and turn it into a spirited oxymel, which means it's going to have apple cider vinegar, honey, fir tips, and some 100 proof vodka. Do you want to pour this in here, or do you want me to do it?
Sure.
Okay, you can just, I think we can just go like that. And although we don't have a spoon for getting out the plant material. Uh-oh. Which we may have to pause and go get a spoon.
Or I could just use my hands.
Yeah, we should use something else though.
Yeah.
So, we are going to pause this video for a minute, go get a spoon, and be right back. All right, we're back, and we have a fork. So we're going to get the rest of this fir tip plant material down in here. Whoop. And sometimes this happens where you change your mind and need to use a bigger jar. Okay, I think I got it burned. Here we go. Here we go. So, like I said, we are making a spirited fir tip oxymel. So we need to add more honey, apple cider vinegar, and the 100 proof vodka. So let's see. Do you want me to do the honey and you can do the vodka?
I'm not as good with vodka, so.
You want to do the honey?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm rolling up my sleeves.
Roll up the sleeves. So what we are going to want to do is about half of this. So you just start it going. Ooh, bugs in my ears.
In your ears?
There we go. Yeah, you can just kind of rest it right there for a little while. And then I'll help you when you're done. Bugs. Okay, that's probably about half. So if you let go, I have kind of a tricky way of curving this around. We'll see here. We may add a little bit more of that depending. I'm going to go ahead and add this.
It was the vodka I smelled, not the vinegar.
It's probably the vinegar. Okay, so I may add just a little dash more.
It might have been more.
Probably. And then I will have you put the...
Apple cider vinegar.
Yes, I'll have you put the vinegar in, if I can get it open. There we go.
Good
Okay,
thing
so you can slowly pour that in, and then we'll top it off with the vodka, if we need to.
if we need
if we need to.
It's like speed pouring.
Perfect. And there we have the remedy. Let's see if we can stir it up a little bit with this. And we will get a big wax paper and
About this big would be good.
I think we should do that size.
But where's the
I've never made a gallon jar, so I don't know how well this will shake. But we will give it a try. But if it starts coming out the sides, we'll have to stir it up more. But yes, we will try this. Do you want to put the lid on there? Perfect. Here, let me get that on there. Good. And we'll see how this does. Comes
bailing out?
bailing out, which it might. Nope, not yet.
Yeah.
So we have a spirited fir tip oxymel. And I will just keep shaking this up periodically for a few days. And then again, same infusion. This is just a folk method. So whatever you want to do, it can infuse for a little while or a long time. But we want to make sure we label, and date. So anyway, there's that. And we will be back to process the arnica. Oh, first, the fir tips. This is kind of what they look like on the branch, which we did a video all about them, but they're just this little part here. Okay, these are arnica flowers, and they're Arnica cordifolia. That is the arnica that grows in our corner of Montana. And so we picked these, and I was just kind of letting the bugs vacate, pull some of the stems off of them, kind of let them dry out a little bit. A few of them were a little on the damp side. So they've been sitting here for quite a while, for about 4 or 5 hours. But we are getting ready to make an infused olive oil for salve making. So right now we can start putting them in. And we may do a couple of these actually, because this is about one more little handful here, and that's probably good. You can put yours in off.
Okay.
And then we are going to fill this full with olive oil. I'll let you do that if you want to.
Okay.
There we go. And it kind of comes glugging out. So what I do is, oh, there's a few little dirts. There we go. And then there. See? Is that comfortable for you or no? Because you can also tip it upside down too. All right, so we are going to, since we are camping and we're going home tomorrow, I'm just going to put a lid on it for the night. But when I get home, I'm going to put a breathable top on there, just like if you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen me make infused oils before, and I always am talking about the breathable top, because it's so important. So what we're going to do here is just cap it for the night. And then when I get home, put the breathable top on, and I will stir it, because with all fresh flower oil infusions, you want to stir it, and stir it often, every couple of days or so, until the flowers fall below the oil. Once the oil is above the plant material, you don't have to worry about stirring it anymore. How you doing? Do you want me to pull it up, or you're doing good? I do a little bit more, just a tad. There, perfect. Perfect. And then if you want to put that on there. And this is the same infusion as all of these other things we've made. The fir tip spirited oxymel and the violet elixir. It really is a personal preference, but most people wait at least 6 weeks. I often go longer. I often go a few months or so. And then once this is done, it will be strained and then made in different salve making. So we will go ahead and cap this until I get it home tomorrow, and then we will label, label, label. But it's so pretty. It's like sunshine, sunshine in a jar. Okay, I'm back. There is, I don't know, it's kind of an industrial day around here, so if you hear a lot of background noise, it's kind of the neighbors are doing all kinds of things. It's industrial summertime, I guess is what's going on. I thought about waiting to take the video, but you know, the show must go on. All right, so those were fun, weren't they? Aubrey and I had so much fun out there just gathering and making all the remedies, and I really enjoyed her company. She's at that perfect age, stage basically, you know, like right before they go into the teens, you know, where they're just so eager, you know, like 7 to 10 in there is such a, you know, a great age where they are so curious as to what you're doing, you know, and they don't know everything yet, you know, so I really soaked up that time with her. It was really nice. But we had made that arnica oil, and I didn't really talk a whole lot about it other than, so when I got home, I put the breathable top on, which I really like to do because it gives you a little bit of forgiveness if you don't get your material stirred up. So the goal is to stir until the plant material sinks to the bottom. Once the plant material sinks to the bottom, you can take your breathable top off and cap it. Nothing is going to go funky from this point because all of the plant material is under the oil. So this can just sit until I'm ready to use it, or I can also strain this and put it in another clean glass jar and store that in a cool place until I'm ready to make the salve. But like I said, nothing is going to go funky here. The plant material has sunk to the bottom. So this plant material has not sunk to the bottom. Obviously, it's still all up there at the top. So what I do is every few days, I stir my plant material really good. Now some people put a wax lid and then a wax paper and then a lid on too, and they shake it. You know, you can do that as well. This is just the process that works for me. I've got lots of oils going, so I can just take the time to really stir that plant material in there. But, you know, however you choose to make your oil is up to you, and you should just experiment, and maybe this method isn't for you. So once I've stirred this up again, I am feeling like this is probably going to sink here pretty soon. It usually doesn't take very long, a few weeks, and then the plant material will sink down to the bottom. So until that happens, I like to put the breathable tops on there. Not everybody likes to do that though, so you should do whatever you are comfortable with. But arnica makes fabulous pain relieving salves and just sore muscle rub, sore muscle
body oil. It's really kind of endless. But on a side note, arnica is not edible. It is a poisonous plant, so don't eat it. Don't eat it. In fact, even if you harvest a whole bunch of arnica, all those volatile oils in the flowers will get all over your fingers. So you really want to wash your hands really good before you even go to eat something like a sandwich. Because I've been out harvesting before and harvested all day and then go to eat something, you know, and like a granola bar, and all I can taste is arnica because it's just on my fingers. So that's something else. That's something else about the arnica. But anyway, I think we are about finished up here. Like I said, June was a fabulous month, and I'm looking forward to July. We've had some travel plans fall through, so I'm just looking forward to making more remedies, getting more things sown, making it to the farmer's market and hopefully the lake, and doing some summertime outdoor activities. And again, so I'm Dacia, and Simply Josephine is my business. I'm Simply Josephine all over the place. My social media is Instagram, and I'm Simply Josephine over there. And simplyjosephine.com is where you can find all of my offerings. And you can also subscribe over there at my website as well. So come on over and say hi, and feel free to like, comment, or share this video. It really helps me get it out there if you share on your own social media. So anyway, happy summering wherever you are at. Hopefully I've inspired you to get out and make some herbal remedies when you're camping this summer. Bye!